Hello guys. Happy to be with you today. As usual, live trading room on the 5ers. Happy to be with you today. Actually, we have a strong setup, nice camera. So yeah, happy to share this session with you. Actually, just been talking to you, but there is a news, not a news, but Powell is actually speaking. So the market is going to move. I have a live position on it. I just opened it 30 minutes before, so I will show you in a minute. But guys, let me know in the chat if the setup is good, if you see me, if the sound is good, and also how are you today? How are you feeling? I also want to check what is going on in the speak. Maybe I don't know where is. Okay. Fed Chair Jerome Powell speaks on central bank independence. Okay, central bank independence. Okay, actually, it's not big. Not the big things actually, but good. You see me. Hello from Dubai. Waiting for Thursday US CPI data to move the market. The market is also moving a little bit right now. I will show the position I have. But yeah, we have some live position, guys, so we'll be able to manage. Actually, I have a nice entry. It's a bit complicated to we'll see what, let's say, how the market will open in US in Wall Street. But I have indices position right now. So I will show you in a minute. Actually, there is not a big number that is going to be out today. It's only a speak, to make an overview or let's say an expectancy of what's going to happen on Thursday with the CPI data and everything. So not big numbers that will affect very big the market, but again, Jerome Powell can throw a sentence and the market will react very drastically. So let's move into MT5, just showing you the two positions I have. Guys, it's not a random position, okay? I worked before to understand why I should be in that position, and it's quite clear that the market beginning of January, beginning of 2023, the market has moved very good on the upside, breaking out the last high that we have on 2022. You see, this was the high of 2022, like let's say December and November of 2022. Say the Dow Jones and the S&P couldn't get above this area, okay, and actually we are especially on it. So I want to continue with the momentum. This for me a nice spot to enter. We are at the top of the Bollinger Bands in my case. We are crossing stochastics in the H1. We can also see this in M15. M5. This is actually the reaction of the speak, so that's going quite on my side right now, and I will see how I will be able to manage the positions. Actually, on the S&P, this is quite the same setup, guys. You will see we have this zone which hold from the last quarter of, let's say, the last weeks of December 2022. The market broke out in last week after the market opens the new year. We went down straight, high volatility, going down to this big key zone. Momentum is now, on my side, losing momentum, and here we already start crossing the market. And we also see on lower time frame that you see the market has strong push to make on the upside. So this is one of the good positions. It's actually going well. I don't know what Powell is speaking about, but guys, if you have any any insight or any any details of what's happening right now, I would be happy to know. I know that I have this on other screens. Okay, so it's quite going well. It's quite going well. And you see, it's not like a big high CPI impact news. You see here, we see the difference between this type of news when the market goes 1, 2, 3% up in one side, and then it's quite very complicated to hold the trade before. And here it's more gradually. So that's why I take this opportunity to go in specifically on the zone I want. You know, guys, it's not. I didn't enter the market randomly. It's because of different zones I identified a lot of time before. I took my time, and here we'll already go back to average on the I'm sorry. So here it's the key zone of the pre-market. Yeah, it's a button to in mind, but we are still on the pre-market. The market will be open in Wall Street in the next 25 minutes. So I don't expect the price to break the high of this year already, but we need to be on it and monitor this after the market opens. Any questions, guys, on the chat? Let me know. And yeah, we're going to discuss also about Forex pairs. Meanwhile, I'm monitoring those trades. Happy to see you here, Patrick. We had a nice conversation by email, and I read actually your request and your message, and I will try to explain how I played the CPI news on last Thursday. But you were looking at the dollar yen. The euro USD is quite similar, but let's move to dollar yen to understand what the trend and what's going on here. Okay. Okay, Bank of Japan intervened. The market went down from the high. We see it's like crashing down again from the top. And looking at the H4 chart, I think this chart is actually telling us a lot of things. First of all, we look by zone. So we have here a first zone, and then here we have a second zone, and then we have a bottom zone just here starting to create. And actually this zone is quite a big zone because it's actually coordinated with actually the lowest point, the retracement we had on July 2022. So actually the zone here are quite very respected. So it's like a breakdown structure all the time. You see, we can call it an elevator. You see all the time, you stop at a stage, and then you go down and go down, and here the trend is still on it. We are still on the trend. The only thing is that we are actually at a daily key zone, so we should be careful about that. That part that we have here. The market here already react to that zone. You see, when we have a high volatility movement, the market tends to go back to the mean. This is exactly what's happened here. You see, guys, if I took the H4 charts, this is here. So here it was probably a big news on December. I don't remember which one it is, but it was on middle of December. We have a high impact news. We break this structure and we go straight into the daily zone, and the market slowly goes back to the mean. We can see also it on the daily chart. Here it was the mean. So here we are at the mean. Break down through the Bollinger Bands. Standard deviation is high, is wide here, and slowly we go back to the average into the next zone. So here technically it's like a perfect picture of what we have in the dollar yen. And actually the market is showing some strength on that zone. We can definitely go back to the bottom of the range and make another retest. Again, actually for me it's not a place to make any decision. Why? Because again, if we take the last H4 chart, we are approximately at the middle. So again, for people and for someone that entered the market at that spot, which is a very sweet spot, very big key zone, I like also to enter this zone. We also see here on stochastics we cross above 80, which is exactly that point. Again, that point also here is not so bad, but here is quite a very big sweet spot to enter the market, and I think Patrick does that already. When you go back at the average, depends on which time frame you go in, but looking at that time frame, the market already go back to the mean. Okay, the market already go back to the middle, And if I had this type of trades, I would already exceed some partial here, especially on the middle. Again, it depends what you're looking for. It depends what the volume you have. Depends if you're looking at the weekly chart or if even you are looking at the H1 chart. Okay, it depends a lot of things. But again, if you look at the H4 chart, theoretically saying we are at the average, guys. So that's my analysis. I case bit late, that's fine. You know, there are no red flag for people that come late. That's totally fine. Is Fed Powell not speaking right now? Yeah, Fed Powell is actually speaking right now, and we are actually. If you guys have some insight, you know, put on a second screen Bloomberg or any news, TV news, and let me know what's going on there. I also have here on another screens the video, but I cannot hear what he's saying, so I have to find any Twitter or any things to get on live what he's talking about. But so far it has pushed the market a little bit. I don't know if there is here a consequence here. The market is a bit going down from that spot. Can already get rid of yeah, I can probably close here 5%. Yeah, I just closed 75% of my position, especially on the S&P. It's the pre-market. We just reached the top of the range here, so that's fine to take some profit here. I'm quite happy, and we will leave the 75% again for the raw structure that we have here. You see, this is why I entered the market today before the news, before the speak of Powell. What I wanted to talk about. Do you scan which currency pair to trade before the market start? Again, in the last quarter and even all the last year, I all the time looked at the USD currency. So, you know, Aussie yen, I don't know, New Zealand Swiss, those pairs, I didn't put too much interest on them during last year, and it should be the same this year, I believe. For me, the USD currency will have a lot of opportunity, which can be on daily trades, or it can be even on scalping, you know. But US pairs are moving very well, and that's why I all the time look at the Euro USD and GBP USD, especially those time, and also Australian dollar. I don't know if you guys were with me last Wednesday, but actually the position I had with Jordan was quite successful. I will also show you the Australian dollar pairs today. Can you talk about your Dow Jones analysis? Hi Daniel. Yeah, of course. I will be back into that analysis. Just again, a small disclaimer. I don't want you guys to take the same position I'm taking. It's very important to all the time go back and make disclaimer about the risk that trading can bring. So guys, here is only my analysis, is only my trades. I'm taking the full responsibility by taking those trades. You guys, you take your responsibility. So again, it's very important to mention all the trades you are taking is only from your own decision, and here is only for an educational purposes, guys. Okay, I'm not giving any advice. I'm only showing my mindset. So here again, very important to say and to repeat session after session. Thank you, Patrick, for the feedback. I appreciate your feedback. Again, you will be used to find my chart by Bollinger Bands and stochastics and have a water aspect and you know. So be happy, come to my trading room to check or I analyze with Bollinger Bands. Again, it's not fits to everyone. It fits to my mindset and how I see the market all the time. Australian dollar, yeah, Aussie dollar. I wanted to talk about this. Okay. Yeah, here we have a nice spot. We have a nice spot also here on the Australian dollar. I wouldn't take this trade on the H4 chart, as you see, guys. Here it's only, we are still at the top of the stochastics, even we are the average. So that's why on H4 chart it will not, for me. Here it's the very good example in these pairs, especially to show how far we can have fake signal. Here on if I analysis my chart and how I analyze the market, here is definitely a point where it can be a fake signal for me. Okay, we are at the middle. Okay, we are definitely here at the average price in the H4, and we are at the top of stochastic. So here, you know, we are still at a key zone, but again, it will not be for me a buy indication. Okay, again, we can even go to lower time frame and we can find if we have any good spot. Yeah, so on M30 and H1, okay, as you see, guys, here there was a nice signal. Okay, especially on H1, you see we were at the top. It's a big zone. We go to H4, big zone. Go back to H1. It's actually the zone here, and if we go and get lower and lower, we see that I don't know, maybe at this point here we already start to cross stochastics and push. Again, by looking at the H4, it's not for me the best spot to enter the market, but on lower time frame it worked. So guys, be careful on this type of news. Again, on what I wanted to talk about in the Australian USD was about the last trades I take, was especially here. I think there was a news between China and Australia that make a deal for business in commodities. I don't remember so far. Jordan know better than me about this fundamentals news, but here the market has pushed, and we see on the H1 as you see the market here pushed like 2.2% in one day straight into a big zone, and I think on the daily chart it's also work. It's also this zone. This zone is a big one, and it might be a big key zone, and the market goes straight. You see, this is the type of scenario I like to have in the market. The market goes straight into this zone, which is a big key zone. Stochastics was above 80. We are at the top of Bollinger Bands, and I say, okay, there is a fundamental news that should push the Australian dollar above. But again, here it's not. It's a good point for me to sell the market, and the market goes back to the mean. I exit my trade. The risk reward was very good here. So this is the type of setup I like to have when we are providing a huge push from the bottom. Okay, you see here we are actually starting from the bottom, so I think here was 2.2%, yeah, 2.6% from the bottom to the top on a very small amount of time. That's why I expect the market at least to go back a little bit from here. What else we have? Yeah, so this trade was a good one in my opinion. So it's when all the stars align, you know, guys. When you have a plus signal in your trading plan and in your chart, you are happy to go with it. Okay, what's going on in S&P and in okay, S&P we are still at the top of the pre-market. Market will open in 20 minutes, so we should have higher volatility. Dow Jones is also at the same spot for Dow Jones, the top of the pre-market. Okay, the opening will be interesting. Can you offer some insight on Euro USD? Yeah, of course. I didn't talk about USD currency yet, but okay. We can buy it. Okay. Again, I'm very careful about this zone in Euro USD. Again, we are also at the bottom of 2019. 1.07, 1.08, 1.09. You see all this zone here is a key zone on the monthly chart. So again, we should be careful. We still have an interesting push from below 1, so we were below the parity. Right now we are above the parity. But again, I think we should be careful about this zone, okay? Definitely, and this is something I'd say already. I will not make a buy at that spot in the long term, okay? For me, this is not a good zone for make a buy. As we have stochastics above 80 and we are at the top of Bollinger Bands. So here, Bollinger Bands help me to take a decision, which is what is the thing that I should not do at all. And here the thing is, okay, I should not make a buy, that's fine. Should I make a sell? Again, this is the same question I had. I don't know, I don't have any more information by doing that. The dollar index is quite the same. We will see, guys, I already shown you a lot of time the dollar index chart. At some point we can expect a retrace, okay? I don't know where we should expect the retrace, but there are some space for it. There are some space for it. What is good in your USD is that you know, here it's a good playground to make some scalp. Again, very trendy on H4. It's quite very difficult to find. Very difficult here to find any buy entry on H4 chart. On the daily chart, you know, again, we are at the top of Bollinger Bands. Here it was very difficult also to make a decision. Again, I repeat, it's in my theory. Okay, the momentum was in the middle. Okay, stochastics is not showing anything here on the daily chart. The fact is that here was the reaction in the news. The market pushed, went down, push again. We were at the bottom. Is there were any zone here? Yeah, you see it's probably this zone. That's why the market reacted. But again, it was very difficult to. Here you say, oh, okay, it's fine. We can open. This was a sweet spot for the market snapper entry. But again, it's, when you see it before and during the news, here it's not so clear because if we go back below here, the market is not giving any big picture because it's only the beginning of the year. So again, I will keep my words and say here is definitely for me not a moment where I should make a buy in the market. I prefer to wait, probably, I don't know, waiting the USD to go back a little bit to a zone where here can be a nice decision. I believe that if USD come back a little bit down, maybe to that zone, it will attract another buyer. Stochastics should be above, should be around 20 on the daily chart, and we can find some sweet spot on the H4. But before that, again, I prefer the market to run without me. I'm fine with it. It was the same mindset when I look at the dollar yen. You see, when all the time for people that trade my trading room, when dollar yen kept pushing and pushing, and we were already here, and then we were here, and then again here, and then at the top, and say, guys, again, the main decision for me, it's not to make a buy. This is actually the first decision that came in my mind. Don't make a buy when we are at the top of Bollinger Bands. Again, according to my theory, and also because we are at the top of stochastic, so we are in a very momentum here that at some point the market will lose this momentum. So again, my strategy is not built for trend following. It can be adapted, but it's not for trend following, because I'm waiting the market to reverse to the mean all the time. So again, this is quite the same thing that we have in Euro USD. Be patient, be calm, put your chart on the side, and wait for any decision. Again, what we see also in the weekly is that stochastics is quite starting to be flat above 80, and we are especially at this zone. So again, I will not be surprised if we see Euro USD coming back a little bit. Maybe not from this point especially, but maybe the market can make a high volatility, getting out some of you that put stop loss tight, and then coming back. You see, this type of thing can happen also. But again, my sweet spot would be to wait and find any spot here that the market goes down to make a buy. Hello Van, hope you're well. Yeah, of course, here are the settings, indicators, here properties, Bollinger, it's the classic Bollinger Bands 20 with deviation of 2, and stochastics is 1485. Indicator list, stochastic properties. So the level is 20 and 80, and parameters are 14K period, 8 day period, and 5 on slowing. What's your win rate and risk reward ratio, please? That's a good question. Again, I stopped by all the time looking at my statistics and say, okay, here I need a win rate of this and my risk reward is that. It depends of a lot of things in the market. Here, for example, in the Aussie dollar, when I set this trade, okay, my entry was approximately, I don't know where I exit the market also, but when you open here, the stop loss should be above the high. So if you take an example, the stop loss was above the high. Maybe here, and then you need all the time to wait for the price to go back to the mean. So here, for example, we have a risk reward of 54 pips to 73 pips. So here it's 1 to half, and the fact is that I'm managing my trade differently. When the market goes back to the mean, I'm only closing partial profit and then remove my stop loss to break even. So it's quite difficult to follow all the time what is my risk reward and what is my win rate, because I'm all the time I'm dynamically managing my positions. Again, there should be a way by calculating this, but my strategy is when the market goes back to the mean. And the fact is that my strategy is built on time also. You see, if the market will stay a lot of time at the zone, the average will be higher. I don't know if it's understandable, but here the market goes back very quickly to the average. Sometimes the market will take a lot of time to play in that zone, and then the market will be back, and then the average will only be here. So my risk reward for closing a partial here would be very low. Okay, so that's why all the time my time in my strategy is a very big aspect and factor on it. So that's why it can be variable, but the best risk reward for this strategy would be to find a 1 to 2 risk reward, because the win rate is quite high in this strategy. Of course, this is a mindset. Again, guys, you can decide to go and go full volume at the beginning. Say, oh, okay, I have only one entry, which is here, and you can start by make some partial when the market goes against you, because again, generally, when trading this type of setup, the market goes against you, and then you wait for the reverse. So it depends what you're comfortable with. Okay, I'm comfortable by sometimes having partial and sometimes going full volume at the same spot. Here, for example, I'm not making, you see, I don't have any partial here because there are not a lot of space for the market to react. Okay, here the zone is very clear. If the market goes down, that means that this zone is not correct anymore. Would you use divergence for entry? Yeah, sometimes I'm using divergence. Again, it's not my main the main thing I'm looking for, but yeah, of course we can find divergence between the price action, between the price and between stochastics. I know that a lot of traders use stochastics to find some divergence. You know, we have, for example, one here. Here we make an higher high, okay, and here on stochastics, okay, we have actually we get down here on stochastics. We see it was the top and we are above. I don't know what was the level here in stochastics, but we probably were at 93, and here we are only at 87. So here there is a divergence. Again, I'm not looking at it all the time. It's of course, you can, more you bring signals and more you bring affirmation to your setup, more you have chance to succeed. But again, this is not the things I'm working for me. Okay, I adapt the strategy for me. So yeah, this nice question, Cabrio, thank you. Do we have any setup? Yes, Patrick. I'm answering your question. So I explained at most of the time. So yeah, I will exit if I enter the market here, or I'll say here. If you take the example of last week, I will exit partial here. Okay, of course the other part I will move my stop loss to break even. I will manage, go to lower time frame, try to exit the market. Here we have a demand, so definitely I also exit from here, and then the last part goes back to my entry. But if there is a big fundamental news and coming to my way, of course I will wait the other part, which means the bottom here. Of course, and here this is what can happen in the S&P, guys. You see, here we are already at the average, and I'll close some partial, but we are in the big key zone on H4. It's the beginning of the year. We can very quickly go back to the top you see the top of the rally summer very quickly. So that's why I'm not rushing to close those trades. I think when you have a confirmation in any of the time frame, here I have a confirmation in H4, in H1, H4 maybe not in stochastics because we are still here, but when I go to at least H1 and M30 and M15, all the price action is going to my direction. So again, I will not close the trades. Let's say a big part of the trade at the average, and I will let it run. But those are very exceptional decision that I bring into my mindset. I will not do this a lot of time, because generally the market react at the average. You see, for example, this was after a news. I didn't trade this one because it was a very big one. Market pushed during 15 minutes straight into the Bollinger Bands way above, go back to the mean. Okay, and here the market explored to the other side. Okay, so if I look at my strategy, I would make a sell here after the news, but the market goes back straight into the average and then again continue. And here we already started by breaking the structure. Sorry guys, I'm talking a lot, I'm talking fast, but I hope that you follow. Again, for you guys that are new, try to stick and try to stay with me. And of course, if you have any questions, meanwhile, put your question on the chat, and I will be happy to answer and react. We have just opened, the market have just opened 2 minutes before. Let me get rid of the. Okay, so we are at the two. Of course, the Dow Jones and the S&P will go into the same direction. They are both stock index, so it's quite the same things by looking at both charts. But guys, it's quite doing well right now. I'm actually thinking to remove my stop loss to break even already, because we break the levels of the next part. This is what I will do on the Dow Jones already. Okay, we move my stop loss above break even. If the market continue, that's fine. I will find some exit part, and here on the S&P, I will definitely do the same. And again, this is for one reason, because we break the structure of the pre-market. Only because of that. And it's not because I'm looking P&L, or it's not because I know the market is flying. It's only because here we break the structure of the market. That for me, this zone is not relevant anymore. It depends how the market will react in the next minutes. Generally, at the opening, the market have gone one side very strongly and then go back all the way, retest this zone. But again, when we break a structure, and here we break this big structure here, the market will tend to go wide in one side. Okay, so we'll monitor this. What's the stochastic settings? 14.85, 14.85, levels 20 and 80. Do you only trade 4 hour and 1 hour time frame? Definitely not. Here I had a nice spot for Dow Jones and S&P, let's say US indices, to go in on the H1 M30 time frame. but sometimes, and I like better to trade M5 and M15 minute charts. Yeah, the market is pushing, guys. Let me check what's happening on with, I don't know if Powell finished to talk, but guys, let me know what's going on there. I want to know what because it's only the opening, or because there are some, some good news that we have in the economy and in general. So guys, let me know what you found. Let me go on Twitter. I know that generally on Twitter there is some good insights. What's going on in the USD? I believe that if we see this type of movement in Dow Jones and in S&P, we might be looking here in a movement in euro dollar. Short-term correlation. We talked a lot about it last week, and this is quite clear, guys, that when US stock market on a short-term basis is moving on the upside, the dollar will lose value. Okay, there is all the time a transaction between cash and stocks. Let's say cash, which is the USD, and stocks, which is more like a part of paper, which is going into stock. I don't know how to explain, but this is the short-term manipulation between the dollar, which is cash, and the stock market. And we already see a movement going down. We can also exit 50% on the S&P. We touch at the top here. Yeah, we can let it run. We can let it run. Again, I will probably take. Okay, so I took my order 25% just at this zone. If the market goes down, I will exit the market here. Again, a quarter of my position, 25%. The Dow Jones, we will let it run, but it's quite going. It's expanding. I even don't know if it's worth for me to exit the market here and not making actually a swing trade and exit the market. Let's say at the middle of this zone. You see, guys, here on the daily chart, you have this big zone here for me, and we can exit at the top of the Bollinger Bands in the daily chart. It actually would be a very nice trade. Yeah, let's continue checking that. Do you see short potential on Australian dollar? Let me check. Again, I didn't know because here we are on H4, we are at the average. Let's say not so far from the average price. Stochastic is crossing, so here there is quite a divergence in my strategy. It's quite difficult to understand here what's going on. But looking at that lower time frame, again, I don't know. Actually, I'm not so sure on Australian dollar. We are definitely at a zone where the market can react again, but we already make some retest. Okay, we make already a first retest here. We had a retest a bit before the zone on December, like beginning of December, and then we had another retest 2 weeks after, and then last week, this is the trade I was talking about. We make another retest, and here we break out. Here it's maybe again, the retest of the breakout, again, why I'm not sure, because the momentum, we are actually losing momentum. You see here, the stochastic starts from here, goes down here, and here it's not coordinate with my trade. So again, I will let the movement continue without me, actually. That's it. Again, if we see at the daily chart, we are definitely the top of Bollinger Bands. So I will not make a buy. If this is good for make a sell, again, this is up to you. This is very up to you, because actually the market already went down from here. The risk reward could be not in your favor. It would be 46 pips above, and again, if you expect here it would be 1.30, yeah, it's not a big risk reward, but again, you can try to go for it. Again, I will not do that. According to my biases and how I see the market, I will not making a sell in this pair. Shorting gold, yeah, I didn't talk about commodities and gold, but we had a nice gold beginning of 2023, guys. It's moving well. It's moving well on the upside. Let's say the last quarter of 2022 bring gold 13%. We are not so far from the all-time high. We have this big zone here. Again, we identified a nice structure last week. We had the head here with a triple bottom, so this is the head. We have the first shoulder and we have the second shoulder, and the neckline, which might be here, and the market, you know, consume this line, and then it's actually market is flying. So again, I'm looking at the same things. I will not make any buy actually on gold, and I will continue what I'm talking about. Of course, in fundamentally speaking, gold and commodities and metals in general should moving up in the next year. Okay, I know that if you told me, yeah, where you expect gold by the end of the year or in the middle of the year, I already expect gold reaching the top. Okay, again, it depends how you want to manage the trades. Here, for me, is not a spot for make a buy. We are at the top of Bollinger Bands. The market is already expanding from October 2022. At least no retracement. We had a small retracement one here. Again, at the end, buyers will be tired to push the market, and the market will go down. You see, it's like, you see, guys, here the market pushed, at least no retracement, and then here big wave of sellers. Buyers come back again, and then here it's another cycle. But this is what I'm expecting here. So don't want to make a sell so far, because gold and silver, fundamentally speaking, should be touching the top this year. Again, technically, I should wait. But again, there are quite nice structure created on lower time frame on gold. Okay, so you have this. Get rid of that. So we have this small structure here. You have this structure here. We have this huge trend line. Actually, guys, it looks like crypto and Bitcoin before we reach 60,000 and then drop. Joking, but yeah, it's actually pushing up and straight to the supply. Yeah, I agree with you, Batista. We are actually at maybe not supply, but a big key zone. Actually, the supply is already starting to consume. You see, this is actually the supply starting to get consumed. But yeah, we are actually at a key zone. So yeah, again, will not make a buy here. Would I make a sell? Probably, but you guys should have some balls to hold a sell here against gold, against the trend. This is the type of trade I like to take. But yeah, let's wait a little bit here. There is you see on M30 and H1 big consolidation zone. This might be actually the spot to start creating the position by, you know, adding selling. this is something we can do. Let me check. My stop loss. Again, this is not enough. I think this is not enough for me. If I were looking at gold probably here, I would say, okay, I would already make a sell here. The market is already consolidating, so some chance that we continue on the upside. And here you see Bollinger Bands. This is something I'm not talking about, but when you have Bollinger Bands, you see here it's the difference between the top and the bottom is very low. So it means there is a low volatility, and at some point the Bollinger Bands can get wider. So when the bands gets wider, you have increasing volatility. Here you see the market is quite consolidating. That's why you see Bollinger Bands very very close one to the other, and probably the market will decide to move. Yeah, it's actually quite the same thing on your USD. You know, H1 not moving on any side after a big movement up. Again, it's not the same context, but it's not so far. Actually, on S&P, the market just get down, react. Probably will get not stopped out, but it's only taking another profits to the pocket. Just taking it right now. 50% down. Let's say I exit already 50% of my position in the S&P. Again, we should let it run. Say it's part of trading. What is interesting is that in the Dow Jones we didn't get back to that zone. It looks like the Dow Jones is very supported, actually more than the S&P. So yeah, that's good. Yeah, and this can be a demand, interesting demand also in the M1 chart, making some scalp here. But again, I was in the position. I will not go in again. Nice bar here above Bollinger Bands. Market reaction, guys. Yeah, yeah, we should be patient. I think that's it. Okay, guys, we approach the end of the session. Already 48 minutes that we started. Appreciate your time being with me. Appreciate your questions. We are more and more people in the trading room. So again, guys, thank you very much for sharing. You know, this routine day in trading together. Appreciate your time. I also appreciate the time I take by showing my analysis and having the market. So again, very appreciate. Tomorrow morning, not morning, depends where your time zone, but it will be on 9, I don't know the time, but it will be maybe 4 a.m. Eastern time, I don't know, but generally with Jordan live trading room tomorrow on Trade Delicious. Sarol will do it, so I invite you to join them on the trading room. Again, very interesting session. London session is less volatile. There are also some good spots to go in. Not volatile as the US session, but again, it's very interesting. So guys, invite you to come tomorrow to Trade Delicious, which is a new channel, and again, check the trading room there. And for me, see you next Tuesday, guys, as usual, live trading room. trading, analyzing the market, discussing, and appreciating your time. Thank you guys for being with me. I appreciate your time. Have a nice day and see you. Goodbye, guys. Thank you.